Good afternoon. It's Friday and you're probably all just ready to leave work. Hope you all are looking forward to the match tomorrow. You may have seen this young man before. He joined me on the player ratings of one of our recent videos. This is Ben Phillips. Ben, how are you?
I'm good, thank you. And
he happens to be my nephew as well. And what we're going to do is we're going to talk about the weekend games in a little bit of depth. Ben, you do stuff like Fantasy Premier League and all that kind of malarkey, don't you?
Yeah, I do.
And how are you doing so far?
Well, we've got a league in my school and I'm second in that, so I'm doing quite well.
Amazing. And who's your captain at the moment?
It's Jamie Vardy.
Jamie Vardy, he's doing pretty well for Leicester.
Yeah, he is.
Right, okay, so Saturday then, Everton versus Chelsea at 12:30. What are you thinking for that?
Well, I think that Everton aren't doing that well, and Chelsea, you know, even though they lost to West Ham, is kind of Chelsea, they're a bigger team, Everton not doing well. So I think Chelsea will get the win. I'm thinking 2-0 Chelsea.
2-0 to Chelsea. Yeah, very interesting. And are there any players if you that you'd be sort of looking at in that match? I mean, Tammy Abraham's doing all right for Chelsea at the moment, isn't he?
Yeah, I would be looking out for him, but he has been injured for the past few matches because of it against Valencia in the Champions League. He did get injured. So if he is back, then he is one to look out for. But I think also Christian Pulisic and Mason Mount, they're both very good. So I think they'll be the ones to look out for.
Yeah, okay, so AFC Bournemouth versus Liverpool. Let's just put this microphone cover on properly. It should be an interesting match based on our last fixture at Selhurst Park on Tuesday, which was not pretty viewing. Is there any chance for Bournemouth in this, Ben?
Maybe to get a point. I don't think we could repeat the 4-3 heroics of a few years ago. But I think if we go maybe as a similar style to what we did against Man City last season, maybe we could get something because, as you know, they did end up winning 1-0, but they apparently Riyad Mahrez handballed it, and that's what led to the goal. But I feel like if we perform and just make sure that we minimise the mistakes in defence, then maybe we could have a shot of maybe getting a draw.
What does it tell you that in Liverpool's match earlier on this week against Everton, what does it tell you that they started with Shaqiri, Mane and Origi up front? So no Firmino and no Mo Salah. Does that mean they are taking the Bournemouth game more seriously than their derby? Because that's what it looks like to me.
Yeah, I'm maybe not sure. Maybe they're giving a few players a chance because they are Liverpool. They're unbeaten in 30 games, and they maybe Firmino and Salah have just played so much that they just need a bit of a rest. So
so which player to look out for?
Well, I think it's their front three, and also, if I could, I would say all of their players.
Yeah.
Because there's Van Dijk, he's just amazing. He's hard to get past. And also he scored 2 headers at the weekend against Brighton. So if there were 3 main players to look out for, I'll probably say Mane, Van Dijk, and probably Fabinho.
I know you said we could get a draw. What do you actually think?
I think it'll be 3-1 to Liverpool.
Interesting. And Spurs against Burnley, Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Burnley didn't do too well against Manchester City in the week, conceding a hatful of goals. And going to Spurs, do you think it'll be any different?
I don't think it will be, because Tottenham, they are on a good run of form, you know, and it seems like they're picking it up with under Jose Mourinho. And Burnley, I just feel like they, especially as they're away, they'll struggle against a team like Tottenham, who have better players, and obviously they'll have a majority of the fans. So I think Tottenham will win, and I think it will be 4-0.
Okay, fair enough. Watford versus Crystal Palace. Watford scrapping for points, and Palace, obviously they're going to be boosted by their win over us in the week. That should be an interesting one.
Yeah, it should be. I think Watford, if they have a new manager, I'm not sure. Apparently they've got their under-23s boss in charge. So I think Watford, I think this could be the season that they're going down, seeing as they're twisting between so many managers, and I just don't think they're going to do well. I think Watford 0, Crystal Palace 1.
Interesting. Going for I'd say that's probably about right. And then you've got the Manchester derby as well. Man City, Man United. It's at the Etihad. Most people would probably say home win, but are you going with that?
I honestly don't know, because obviously United did do well early on against Tottenham in the week, and it's tough because over the years it's twisted between City, United, and I think City, if they need to stay in this title race, they need to win against Man United. I think it will be Man City 2, Manchester United 1.
Interesting. Okay, so it's going to the light blue side of Manchester. So those are the Saturday matches. Who should we be looking out for on the pitch in that game? It's a 5:30 kickoff.
So I think there's obviously Sterling, Aguero, them players, but I also think that they've got their midfield, like with De Bruyne, the Silvers. It's just amazing that if they with De Bruyne, and I think he's the best centre midfielder in the world. So I think if I could pick 3, probably Aguero, Sterling and De Bruyne. Yeah,
so if you've got any of those in your fantasy team, you'll be doing all right this weekend. So on Sunday, Villa versus Leicester City. Leicester City on a ridiculous run. 6 in a row, I think they've won. Villa doing all right. It should be an interesting match at Villa Park.
Yeah, I think it will be. I think it could be similar to the match against Everton a week ago.
Well, while you have a coughing fit, I'd like to say, Tyrone Mings, I thought had done very well for him. Scored that goal at Old Trafford. That it was a funny one, because when he scored it, I don't think he believed it was going to be ruled okay. But he was onside, and he's done really well there, hasn't he? But when you got Jamie Vardy and there are other sort of attackers up against you, I don't think Mings will stand a chance against them, because they are ridiculously good, aren't they, at the moment?
Yeah, they are. I think with Leicester going forward and in their midfield, a little bit like Manchester City, they're a very well drilled team. They're very solid at the back, and they're good going forward. And I feel like I can see Villa getting a goal or two, but I can see Leicester winning and making it 7 in a row, and keeping their spot in second. So I think it will be Leicester 3, Villa 1.
Oh, there we go. Newcastle United versus Southampton. That's a tricky one. We obviously went to Newcastle in a positive sort of mindset and didn't perform. Southampton scrapping for points earlier in the week. They were up against Norwich in a very interesting match at St Mary's. But what do you think with those two?
I think that Newcastle, they are probably a better team than Southampton, and seeing as Southampton is so low down, and Newcastle, they will have the home advantage. I reckon it will be Newcastle 1, Southampton 0.
Interesting. Norwich versus Sheffield United. Another interesting match as well. Lys Mousset on fire for the Blades. Where did that form come from? What's your prediction for that, and which players would you be looking out for?
So I think for Sheffield United, the players to look out for will be Mousset, and I think that Lundstrom as well. He's done well this season, so I think those two players will be good. They'll be good to be in your fantasy team. And also for Norwich, I think Todd Cantwell and Timu Pukki will be players to look out for. But I think Norwich may after their result against Arsenal and their decent performance against Southampton, I reckon it will be a draw. I reckon 1-1.
Interesting, right? And the final game on a Sunday is Brighton and Hove Albion. That's the 4:30 kickoff on Sky versus Wolverhampton Wanderers.
Ooh. I think Wolves, they're on a good run of form as well. But Brighton, I just don't really know what to expect of them because they can beat Spurs 3-0 and then they can go and lose 5 games in a row. A bit like Bournemouth.
Yeah.
So I think Wolves, I think they'll win.
Yeah.
I think it's either going to be Wolves dominating the whole game, winning 4-0, or it's going to be quite tight. So I'm going to go for 2-0.
2-0. And on the Monday then we've got West Ham United against Arsenal. West Ham played Arsenal's North London rivals at home and recently and lost 3-2. They came back into it at the end. Weirdly, Spurs went 3-0 up, as they did against Bournemouth, and the actual goal times were exactly the same. So West Ham's first goal was scored after 73 minutes and their second goal was scored 90 plus 6 minutes, which was exactly the same as us. But against Arsenal, maybe rejuvenated under Freddie Ljungberg. What are you thinking?
I'm thinking that West Ham, they will be fired up to perform well against Arsenal, seeing as sometimes getting a new manager can take a while to adjust, and I think they want to keep Pellegrini in, seeing as he is a good manager. But it's again a tough one to call because West Ham, on paper they're a good team, but then their run of form hasn't really shown it. And I think Arsenal, they've got a good front line with Aubameyang, Pepe, Lacazette, etc. But I think in defence they are quite weak. So I think it will be West Ham 1, Arsenal 3.
So it's an Arsenal win. So very interesting. So those are the thoughts of Ben Phillips. Ben, thank you very much.
Thank you as well.
And I'm sure Ben will be appearing on the vlog again very soon on the channel, doing some more bits. Very interesting. Now, this morning you may have seen the funnel forecast. You can click the link there to see that. Now those are the quickfire views of ex-Cherry striker Tony Funnell. He played for Bournemouth in the early 80s actually. He played over a couple of seasons, scoring a hatful of goals and helping us get promoted. And every week he joins Mr. Tiggs and gives his predictions as well. So maybe if you're doing a cheeky bet this weekend or anything like that, bet responsibly. Of course, you can maybe use a mixture of Ben and Tony's experience to come up with your accumulator this weekend. But should be an interesting one. And fingers crossed, though, Ben, it will be 3 points for the Cherries. But who knows, eh?
Yeah, who knows?
Fingers crossed.
Back in the day!